You're listening to a Roddenberry podcast.
Today is Friday, April 16th, 2021, and this is your daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. On today's show, Star Trek boss Alex Kurtzman says the line between movies and television is gone. Star Trek and Broadway costume designer Robert Fletcher has passed away at the age of 98, and I've got the answer to this week's Trek trivia. I'm Alison Pitt, and today's show is supported by people like you through Patreon. Find out more and add your support at patreon.com/Daily Star Trek News. First up today, Star Trek executive producer Alex Kurtzman is working to bring the continuity of the franchise's film and television properties together, blurring the line between the two, a line that he says is gone. Kurtzman's comments were part of a recent in-depth feature from Variety on the impact that big intellectual properties, or IPs, have had on the streaming industry. IPs like Star Trek, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Star Wars. Kurtzman is certainly no stranger to both sides of the Star Trek franchise, having worked on the first two Kelvin timeline films, as well as spearheading 4 new Star Trek television series, and counting, in the last 4 years. As the way people watch television has moved more towards a streaming format, Kurtzman sees film and TV, for properties like Star Trek at least, becoming more and more alike. Kurtzman told Variety, "It's impossible not to accept the reality that the line between movies and television is gone." Now, while he doesn't think having a standalone film is necessarily a bad thing for the franchise, Kurtzman said, if they aren't connected in some way, then you're basically running 2 universes parallel as opposed to interconnected, and I think that those messages could potentially cancel each other out. Part of that interconnectedness are the intersecting timelines of the various Star Trek series currently airing. To bring order to the Star Trek universe, producers have started holding a monthly showrunners meeting. In these meetings, showrunners from each Star Trek series have the opportunity to share their ideas for content and create a consistent universe. On the new monthly meetings, Kurtzman said, "We make sure that those showrunners are coordinating so they're not stepping on each other's toes." Those meetings are likely the reason that fans have seen continuity links between Star Trek series like Discovery, Picard, and Lower Decks, and now with the new film set to release in 2023, one can't help but wonder how it, too, will tie into the rest of the franchise. Now, next up, there's some sad news today as costume designer Robert Fletcher has passed away. A piece in Deadline.com reported this week that Fletcher died peacefully on April 5th from undisclosed causes. He was 98. Now, if you're a Star Trek fan, you're probably very familiar with Fletcher's work, but you might not even realize it. Fletcher was the costume designer for the first 4 Star Trek films: the motion picture, The Wrath of Khan, The Search for Spock, and The Voyage Home. His work was so iconic in those films that it earned him 3 Saturn Award nominations and a win in 1987. TrekCore.com tweeted a fantastic thread of Fletcher's work for Star Trek. They captioned the pictures, "R.I.P. to longtime Hollywood costume designer Robert Fletcher, who helmed the costume department for the first 4 Star Trek films and created these iconic looks, including the monster maroon uniforms for The Wrath of Khan." Now, Fletcher's work wasn't just confined to Klingons and Vulcans and monster maroons, though. Outside of Star Trek and film in general, he had successful careers in costuming for television and for Broadway as well. He was nominated for 3 Tony Awards for his various stage productions, a Primetime Emmy Award for his work on the miniseries North and South, which featured Star Trek The Next Generation's Jonathan Frakes before he was Riker, and he earned a Lifetime Achievement Award in 2005 from the Costume Designers Guild. Please join me in sending condolences to Fletcher's family. Now, I've got the answer to Tuesday's trivia here in just a moment, but first, a word from me. Now, I've been telling you about this all week, but Daily Star Trek News is growing, which means that we need more people. I'm currently recruiting for 2 new writers, one to write the daily news and one to write our trivia and history. Both of those roles will take a couple of hours per week, and both of them come with a small monthly stipend. So if you think that you've got something to contribute to this show, then please reach out. Send an email to info@dailystartreknews.com and I'll send you more information. Once again, that's info@dailystartreknews.com, and I look forward to hearing from you. Right. Now it's the answer to this week's Trek trivia. On Tuesday, I asked you, in the Star Trek Season 2 episode Cat's Paw, the mysterious and magical events that the crew encountered on Pyrus 7 were caused by 2 alien beings in human form. What were their names? The answer? Korob and Sylvia. When Kirk figured out what was happening and broke the wand that enabled their illusions, they reverted to their true forms. 2 small, blue, bird-like creatures who looked very much not unlike the Martians from Sesame Street. Yep. For more Trek trivia, tune in next Tuesday. Well, that's it for today's Daily Star Trek news from the Roddenberry Podcast Network. Don't forget to check out the other great shows on the network at podcasts.roddenberry.com. Daily Star Trek news is produced by me, Alison Pitt, with selected stories by Chris Peterson. We're supported by people like you through Patreon. Find out how you can add your support at patreon.com/Daily Star Trek News. And finally, please make sure that you're signed up for the Daily Star Trek newsletter at dailystartreknews.com/contact. Get all the day's Star Trek news delivered straight to your inbox every weekday morning. I'm back on Monday with more of the Star Trek news you need to know. I'm Alison Pitt. Have a wonderful weekend, and live long and prosper.
This is a Roddenberry podcast. For more great podcasts, visit podcast.roddenberry.com.